It's my tremendous honor to finally wish America and the world a very Merry Christmas.
The president making Christmas calls to all over the world. He started the day video chatting to our men and women overseas.
We're grateful for each of you who spend this Christmas away from your families and defend all of our families.
He took part in a holiday tradition he called NORAD. Some of those children were randomly patched through to President Trump.
Building blocks, that's what I always like too. I predict that Santa will bring you building blocks. So many you won't be able to use them all.
It is looking like a white Christmas in many parts of the nation.
God has offered us another option. That is to say yes to his love and to his mercy. And how did he choose to bring us that mercy and forgiveness? In the form of a little baby.
Merry Christmas.
Johnny Mathis to kick off the 7 a.m. hour. Andy Williams to kick off the 6 a.m. hour. Doesn't get better than those two.
Merry Christmas. It is, of course, Christmas morning. Wonderful to be here with you guys. Griff, Molly, and Todd. We are so excited to be joining you all as everyone's getting up and starting to unwrap the presents, digging in.
It's definitely the most exciting moment of the year to wake up, even as an adult, for those that have children and don't have children. And fortunately, we have viewers. We thank you for the support all year. And that's why this morning we are showing your pictures as you're waking up this Christmas.
All right.
Let's kick it off. The Mueller family. You're digging in. You're leaning in. You want to get a close look? Oh, man. See, they've got the matching pajamas. Love that.
Strong.
In upstate New York.
Okay, this is Olivia. A picture of her micro pigs. How awesome is Madeline and Moxie May? Madeline and Moxie May. How awesome is that? They are celebrating their first Christmas.
And here is baby Nathan, his dad Bill, noting he sure loved Christmas Eve.
That's what happens. You love the box.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. The kids love the box. And here's Deb and her dog Sig getting ready for the Christmas parade in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. Decked out. That is a good one. Love the dog photos. Love the baby photos.
Send us your pictures. Friends at FoxNews.com.
I remember on Christmas morning, and I did a little thing for Maria Bartiromo the other day for their Christmas stuff, and I remember thinking, what do I love most about Christmas Day? And it was, I used to like booby trap my brother's room with an alarm.
This was your Christmas Day tradition?
So that if he woke up first, I would hear it, and then I would bolt, and I was bigger than him, so I would get downstairs first. What I didn't realize
is you're bigger than him, why do you need
because I needed the wake-up call.
But you're the older brother.
Yeah, my younger brother. My brother's a sleeper. Guaranteed he's sleeping right now. I won every single year. Didn't need the alarm because I would wake up at 6. My brother would wake up at like 11.
It's a good strategy, though.
As the older brother, did you get better or worse presents, or was it pretty even?
I got a lot of sports stuff. My brother got a lot of electronics. So over the course of time, I realized his stuff was way more expensive than mine. I mean, I got like a hockey stick.
Wow, you are really keeping track.
He got better stuff because
he was much better stuff.
So my older brother, Kim, Merry Christmas, Kim, in Memphis. He was telling a story to Lauren Peikoff, our producer here yesterday. He said, yeah, Griff got like a new bike and all these toys, and I got socks. See? So.
Hey, socks are good. You need socks.
But maybe Santa was good to him this year. We'll find out. We actually have Santa here. We're going to check in with him.
Yeah. Well, I'm on a big road trip with my family, with my toddler, 16 months old, my husband. We're cruising down. We're going to eventually hit Ohio, West Virginia area. We're going to go to New Jersey. And I remember as a kid, we used to drive to Indiana, where I grew up in West Virginia, but I was born in Indiana. My grandparents were there, and this long, long trek, we would finally get in. It would be dark at night, and it was just so cozy and warm. You know, you can remember just being carried into the house or walking into the house and being so relieved you finally made it to Grandma and Grandpa's house.
It's an awesome feeling. Hey, speaking of Santa, you mentioned Santa before, right?
Yeah.
Did you ever see that scene in Elf?
Yes.
Where Will Ferrell sees Santa?
Yeah.
Could we just do that right now when we go to Santa right now? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Hey. Santa!
I know that guy.
I know that guy.
I can't believe you're here this morning.
We have a question
Merry Christmas,
for you,
everybody.
We know it's been a rough night, but we just want a little bit more of your time. Dear Santa, what is the hardest area to fly through? P.S. Still waiting for that motorcycle, says Jay.
Well, you know, I left it in your driveway last week.
What?
Last week. You were there early.
It was there early. Check behind the garage.
And here's a laundry question. How do you get the suit out of your suit?
Great dry cleaners. The best in New York City.
Nice, understood.
The New York City dry cleaners.
Yeah, and so, Santa, we got a question about all that food you've got to eat. Do you get indigestion after eating all those milk and cookies left out for you? In fact, we put some out, so we're making
Yeah,
you
but
eat them.
he and Father Jonathan were still snacking
I have a
on
whole
them,
plate
so-
right over here.
What's your secret? Zantac, Pepto-Bismol? Like, talk to me.
A little Pepto, halfway through the flight, gives me a little bit of comfort.
Right, sure.
You need Pepto to get around the globe. I get it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
I have just one last one, Santa, and that is, did it add to your indigestion that President Trump, as you heard, wanted more building blocks than he could ever have? Did you have pressure to deliver making Christmas great again?
Well, I had to make 2 trips. Just to his house.
2 trips. All right, thanks, Santa.
All right, we were just talking cookies. Other food is
Big day for
about
food.
3 feet away from us, so we're going to go run over. But first, we're going to toss it on over to Adam with Chef Mark Bailey, talking about cooking on Christmas morning. And let's go, Griff.
Holy smokes, there's ham.
In our
There's ham, there's ham.
stuff. This is the stuff I really love: the potato soup, the tacos.
Definitely.
This is going to be coming up in a little bit. But
is all the
first,
fun
let's take a
stuff.
quick look at this forecast. As we're talking about snow sweeping across. I know we're hungry. I get it. This potato soup smells so good. Snow sweeping across the country, really piling up here in the Northeast, where we're going to be talking about snow in some areas getting up to a foot widespread, maybe 4 feet if you're right along the lakes. That's why you got watches and warnings stretch all across New England up into eventually Maine is an area where we could see a foot widespread. But there's your snowfall totals when it's all said and done. Guys, 12 inches of snow, staying inside and eating all day long.
Yes.
All right, so I got to ask you a question. Can I use this spoon? Sure. Is that allowed? All right. What are we eating here? Let's talk about the various items that we have here, and then, are we going to do that later?
Yes.
Yeah, you just came over here to eat with me.
And also, Mark, you're going to have to tell us how you cook and prepare for being snowed in with 4 feet.
Yes.
I mean, you're not coming out.
That's not going to be right. That's a lot
Let's
of
start with the eggnog, really.
Chef Mark,
Yes.
unfortunately, we have to go do some news.
Sure.
We will be
the
back.
food will be right here waiting.
I'm
Or we'll just take it with us.
So you bring that
save
over,
this
bring the
for later.
skillet.
Get a fork, grab a fork.
Obviously, we're all celebrating Christmas, but the president is also celebrating Christmas. He was at Christmas Eve Mass last night at the exact same church where the Trumps got married. Griff
That was
knows
the
that church well.
Yes, Bethesda at the Sea.
by the Sea,
where
Palm Beach.
Melania got married. Very, very beautiful church.
Gorgeous setting. They arrived just a tad late, but that's all right. I'm sure that they were saved a seat, and as you can see there, greetings there. As they entered the church, the Reverend James Harlan, excited to see them arrive. He actually asked people there in the church to put their phones away and said, we're here to worship on this Christmas morning.
And in Christmas,
Or on this Christmas Eve, I should say, because that's yesterday, very late in the night.
We got to put up this tweet. The tweet is my favorite, right? This is President Trump has changed Twitter forever.
Right.
And it has been the story of the year, Twitter. And so this was his Christmas Eve message. People are proud to be saying Merry Christmas again. I am proud to have led the charge against the assault of our cherished and beautiful phrase, Merry Christmas, all capital letters and 5 exclamation points.
It's a serious Merry Christmas right there.
That's right.
That's right.
I feel bad. I keep coming back to the food. I tried to expedite a segment over there where I could eat. I'm bringing my parents in here and my wife to make cookies.
It's a big day for food.
But I get all the food stuff. So they actually had dinner last night at Mar-a-Lago.
Big day in yeah.
On the menu, turkey, beef tenderloin, cornbread, creamy kale, popovers, mashed potatoes, and turkey gravy, various local vegetable dishes. You got
that's
it
right.
local, farm to table. A seafood display including local fish and shellfish, and a variety of desserts. And turns out it wouldn't have been enough to feed the Carmichael family. Our producer Drew, we saw his 87 family members.
Clearly not. The president should have invited you to Mar-a-Lago
He should.
for a sampling of that.
I think my favorite thing on that list was popovers. Those are not easy.
Can I ask a question? I mean, is that like a turnover, like an apple turnover? What is a popover?
They're beautiful. They're like fluffy, popped up little things of bread. That's yeah.
They're like rolls. And you know who was eating them all
They're
morning long?
delicious.
Santa. I saw Santa eating some popovers. Santa, can you first admit you were eating the popovers? And second, can we just get a Merry Christmas? Because it's
Merry
back.
Christmas, everybody.
Oh, thank you, Santa. Merry Christmas to you,
Yeah, I still
too.
have a little bit of room in there. I have a couple of notches on my belt left.
We are delighted to have you here. We do have some headlines, though. The United Nations is cutting $285 million from next year's budget after negotiations with the United States. A goal of the Trump administration has been reducing U.S. contributions to the organization, which total upwards of $3 billion a year. Ambassador Nikki Haley praised the move, calling it a step in the right direction. Guatemala now joining the United States, announcing its plan to move its embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. It's the first country to follow President Trump's lead in making that change, and one of 9 to vote against a UN resolution denouncing it. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu sending a Christmas message from the capital.
I'm very proud to be the Prime Minister of Israel, a country that says Merry Christmas first to its Christian citizens and to our Christian friends around the world.
Oh, from far away, Christmas wishes. He says Israel protects the rights of everyone to worship in Jerusalem's holy sites. And moments ago, Pope Francis delivering his Christmas address to the world, the pontiff giving his Urbi Orbi blessing, or praying for praying for migrants all over the world with nowhere to go fleeing danger. The Pope had a very similar message during the Christmas Eve sermon last night. He compared refugees to the story of Joseph and Mary. Some rockin' firefighters jam out to their own special rendition of Jingle Bell Rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, working around the clock. I gotta say, the video work on this is pretty spectacular too. These guys, they're real firefighters. They're from the Miami-Dade Fire and Rescue. The band is called the Fire Brigade. They recorded the song on their day off, hoping to spread a little Christmas cheer. Man, that is a legit video. Looks great.
It rocked. I like the hats. You know, it's kind of like the Cousin Eddie hat.
Yeah, they've got a little snow in there.
We're going to get to that.
Like.
You know we're going to.
We are, and we're also going to get to Mark Bailey's food. Yeah, this smells so good. I should not have brought this over here.
Without a fork,
starving.
Especially. Now you're just standing there.
I know, and we just had an etiquette segment, so I can't eat it with my fingers, which I won't do. So, but still ahead, how much did you spend on Christmas gifts this year? I spent way too much. Wait until you hear how much the average American spent.
And speaking of cash, Ambassador Nikki Haley promised to pull it from the United Nations if they defy the president. Now she's delivering. Alan Dershowitz is here to react next. But first, a Christmas message from another member of our Fox family. Here's Dana Perino.
Merry Christmas, everyone, watching Fox and Friends from everybody here at the Daily Briefing. I hope you have a great Christmas and that Santa brings you a puppy in your stocking.
UN Ambassador Nikki Haley negotiating a $285 million cut from the United Nations, quote, bloated budget for next year.
In a statement, she says the inefficiency and overspending of the United Nations are well known. We will no longer let the generosity of the American people be taken advantage of or remain unchecked.
All this following the UN's vote to condemn the president's decision recognizing Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Here to weigh in, Harvard Law School professor and lifelong Democrat Alan Dershowitz. Thanks so much for being here with us on a Christmas morning. And besides the obvious financial savings, why is this move so important?
Well, first of all, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Alan Dershowitz.
Merry Christmas.
Me being on the show is part of an old family tradition. Everybody in our family used to work on Christmas Day so that our Christian colleagues and friends could be home for their family. So it's a pleasure for me to be working today so that others can be home and enjoying Christmas with their family. Now, as far as what Nikki Haley has done, it's, I think, terrific. It's about time we sent a message to the UN, which has become a place of hate when it comes to the United States and Israel. You know that Abba Eban, who is Israel's representative to the UN, once said that if Algeria introduced a resolution that the earth was flat and that Israel flattened it, it would win by a vote of 120 to 63 with 28 abstentions. And there has to be consequences for this kind of voting. Look, what Donald Trump did, President Trump did, in recognizing Jerusalem was the right thing. What it did is it struck the balance that President Obama had undone when he changed the status quo at the end of his presidency by declaring the Western Wall, the Jewish Quarter, the access roads to Hebrew University and Hadassah Hospital to be illegally occupied territory. That's what changed the status quo. What President Trump did was to restore balance, and everybody should have recognized that, and that vote at the Security Council and the General Assembly should be responded to, and Nikki Haley, who's become a real hero, did exactly the right thing, and it's the first of many steps I think she'll take to bring the United Nations back to where it ought to be, a neutral arbiter of peace, not a place of hatred.
Professor, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, Professor, I was going to say you've written extensively on the topic of Israel in general, but we're just getting word that Guatemala has now joined the United States in a decision to move their embassy to the capital as well. What are your thoughts on that? Will we see more countries getting on board?
Well, I think we'll see a few more countries getting on board. There'll be a lot of pressure not to do it. But Israel has established very good relations with some Central and South American countries, some African countries, India, China. They're not going to vote with Israel right away, but they're seeing a closer relationship. Even some of the Gulf states, the Arab Gulf states, now see Israel as a potential ally against Iran. And again, it was President Obama who created strength in the Iranian regime by handing over